here.
All right. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate you sharing that tape. Joining us now with reaction, the director of JihadWatch.org, Robert Spencer, and Imam Muhammad Elahi is with us from the Islamic House of Wisdom. Imam, let me ask you, I don't care what your religion is. I believe in freedom of religion. But if Muslims want to live under Sharia, whose values contradict American values, if they want to restrict Americans' freedom of speech and not support our Constitution, why are they here?
You know, Sean, before I start, let me say this, that I'm a Muslim and American, and it really hurts me to see that we as mainstream American Muslims, we are caught between two forces of Islamophobia on one side, and then the extremism, ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, Nusra on the other side. And these two tsunamis that destructively attacking us day and night, they are providing victory for one another, but then we are paying the price, and it's so much of injustice, so much insult, so much hate,
Imam, let me ask
so
you,
much discrimination, and it's not fair. I mean, Sean, show please some understanding. All this propaganda, exaggeration, and generalization and assumption against us.
You see the tape. People that would rather live under Sharia, people that would limit the freedom of speech, Robert Spencer. You see it on tape.
Sean,
do we have to, Robert?
I saw that.
One more second. Robert Spencer, do we have to consider that people must agree to assimilate? They must agree with American law, American values,
Absolutely.
the American Constitution.
Absolutely, Sean.
Explain.
This used to be taken for granted among immigrants. This used to be something that was a matter of course. My grandparents were very, very proud to come to the United States and become Americans. And all the people who came with them knew that coming to the United States meant becoming American. Now it's a very different case. There have been 4 separate and independent studies in mosques in the United States conducted since 1998, and they all came to the identical result that 80%, Sean, of mosques in the U.S. teach the superiority of Sharia over constitutional law and the necessity ultimately to replace one with the other. They are all fact-based. They are all based on studies of what is actually taught in these mosques, and they show that this is a major problem. These guys in Ami's video, they're not an isolated case. They are the vast majority of the Muslims. They're reflecting what is taught in the vast majority of mosques.
Let me say this. Mr. Sponsor, you know, first of all, we know, unfortunately, the history of your Islamophobia, and I don't want to go to the details of that matter, but first of all, there are hundreds of thousands.
No dealing with facts.
No,
there's only personal attacks in response to this. This is all these guys got. It's a deflection strategy designed to divert attention away from the grim reality of what is taught in the mosque.
The reality, Sean, you know, I watched this video. First of all, there are hundreds of thousands of Muslims who are serving this country in the hospital, universities, in the schools, in the business area. Instead of going on the street and talking to some foolish, ignorant, random people, why you are not talking to the right people to begin with?
You're not addressing the question.
I mean,
if there are people that, excuse me,
what program do you have in your mosque to teach constitutional values?
Well, you know,
what kind of classes do you have to teach Muslims to adhere to the freedom of speech in your mosque?
Well, let me say that. Well, first of all, the whole concept of discussion of Sharia is a ridiculous, nonsense, waste of time, because we already, yes, as Muslims that follow the laws of this land, we believe in the Constitution, and Constitution
but not the people on that video, sir. The people in that video, my mom, the people in that video said they don't believe in freedom of speech, that you can't criticize the prophet. I'm a Christian. I don't like let me finish. I don't like a crucifix submerged in urine. But if somebody in America wants to criticize the prophet, the age of his wife, they're free to do so. And if people are saying they don't want to live under those laws of freedom or the implementation of Sharia in countries like Saudi Arabia, which is oppressive towards women, and they want to implement that here contrary to American freedom, then we have to question whether or not we will let you in this country.
Why, Mr. Spencer, why is it that we support Saudi Arabia? Yeah, if Sharia law is what Saudi Arabia is practicing, I'm 100% against the Sharia law. And I am for the Constitution, with the Constitution.
I'm not saying you. I'm talking about the people on the tape. Robert Spencer.
Well, those people are selected even
one at a time, Robert.
Excuse me. The Imam mentioned Saudi Arabia, and this is an important aspect of this problem, that the North American Islamic Trust, which is a Saudi-funded entity tied to the Muslim Brotherhood, controls 80% of the mosques in the United States. There again, that's that 80% that teach Sharia. And this is not being addressed by immigration authorities. It's not being addressed by law enforcement authorities. This kind of teaching that these young men reflect in that video is mainstream in American mosques, and nothing is being done about it. And we see this imam, all he has is deflection and no answers about no program to teach American values.
Mr. Spencer,
and there is no program in any
guys, we're going to have to leave it there.
No,
I appreciate your time.
Spencer, if that's the case, why we are supporting Saudi Arabia?
I've got to run. Thank you both.
Supporting Saudi Arabia?
Coming up, Baltimore.